Welcome back to Money Manager.
Welcome back. A new service is intending to disrupt the $20 billion aged care sector in Australia. CareAbout, a new online comparison site from one of the co-founders of iSelect, aims to empower consumers to make more informed choices when it comes to aged and home care. The service is coming online at a time when the sector is plagued with controversy. A new aged care independent commission will be launched from the 1st of January next year to investigate the failures of the sector after a nursing home in South Australia was closed for maladministration. So if you're looking for care solutions for an elderly parent, what should you be looking for? And how can you avoid being slugged too much without sacrificing on quality care? For more, I'm pleased to bring in Kyra Bay-Snell, co-founder and executive director of CareAbout, who joins us live from Melbourne. Kyra, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Gemma.
So it's an incredibly complex issue, aged care. I used to manage a team of people who would explain complex issues to financial planners, and aged care was the one that I always struggled with the most. And people come to it at the most distressing and difficult time generally. So can you tell us a bit about the service you provide and then how you help people through that?
Sure, Gemma. We help people make informed decisions by building up their confidence. Firstly, by explaining all the options that are available to them, because as you said, it's an extremely complex area and people are really at a vulnerable stage in their life and trying to make decisions that they may not have planned for because they may be in a crisis, or they may not have even considered or know about any of the options that are available for Australians. So we're able to guide them and advise them on the best options that are available for them and just help make that journey a lot easier.
It is very challenging. So can you talk us through the different types of care that are available for a start and then the sorts of costs that are associated with that? Because I suspect most people watching wouldn't be aware of it.
Sure. Well, anyone that's been had to find an aged care home or find some home care for themselves or for a loved one has come up against a system that's extraordinarily confusing. And it's really difficult to know, firstly, what's available and then what's going to be right for your loved one presently and in the future as their health needs change. So the two main forms of aged care in Australia is home care, where someone is able to stay in their own home with support, and also going into an aged care home where you would have 24-hour support that would meet that person's needs. Now, we know that, not surprisingly, 90% of Australians would prefer to remain at home and not go into an aged care home. However, unfortunately, there's situations where people are unable to be cared for at home or unaware of the options for government subsidised support or privately funded support in order to remain at their home, where their health outcomes are going to be a lot better for their well-being and also for their own personal health.
So can you give us a loose idea as to the sorts of costs associated with each of those options? There's government funding available, but they're still very expensive in most cases, aren't they?
They are. Look, this sector represents about $18 billion currently in government funding each year, and that's going to increase because obviously this is a huge market, and in the next 2 years the government's forecasting it will be $22 billion worth of government funding. So that's not taking into account consumer spend as well. So in the home care, people in Australia who are over the age of 65 who need some care at home and who have a Medicare card can apply for government subsidised funding in order to remain at home. And the government support for that is generous. It's consumer directed. However, there's an incredibly long waiting list, and so you're waiting up to 12 months, and we know of cases of people that have waited 2 years in order to access that support. So you're looking at up to, at the moment, $49,000 every year of government support and
Wow.
subsidised funding to stay at home. So you're right, Gemma, it's a considerable amount. There's also obviously funding into aged care home. So the government funding on average is around $73,000 per resident in aged care homes. And then obviously the family is and the the person requiring care is expected to contribute to that cost. And you're looking at entry into homes in the capital cities being $650,000 on average, and that's going up more and more, and you will find homes where there's $1.2 million of a bond in order to access those homes. So there's an incredible amount of choice. It's hard to know what's right for you, and if you make the wrong decision, the consequences of that can be drastic, not only for your health, but also for your hip pocket.
Kyra, extraordinary information, incredible numbers there. Thank you so much for your time this evening.
Thanks, Gemma.
So we've got to change of pace now, and we've